at on Western campus.
The following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting at Western Illinois University.
Coming up on Live at 4, a local bar will honor the 3 lives lost in a tragic crash last week. Also, warmer weather is in the forecast for this weekend, making it a great weekend to rake your leaves. And the Macomb Public Library is working on a new look. All that and more on News 3.
Live from Saline Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
A local business will show their respects to the families who lost their loved ones to a fatal car crash last week. Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. I'm Brody Waddell.
And I'm Shanae Glasgow. The benefit will be held tonight in order to raise money for the victims of last week's crash. One of those killed was Cedric Huffman, an employee at the Forum. There will be a silent auction starting at 7 p.m. and then country cover band Brushville will begin at 9 p.m. If you can't make the benefit, you can visit the website on your screen to donate to the family of Huffman. The lone survivor of the fatal car crash outside of Macomb is still listed in critical condition. 23-year-old Justin Beer has remained in critical condition in Peoria at OSF St. Francis Medical Center since early last Thursday. A fatal car crash on Thursday morning left 21-year-old Gabby Yoakum, 23-year-old Cedric Huffman, and 21-year-old Cassie Roberts dead after the 2010 Jeep Wrangler driven by Yoakum swerved off the road and hit a tree in an embankment. Beer, a Bushnell native, was awarded the Purple Heart in 2013 after he was wounded by enemy fire in Afghanistan while serving for the U.S.
A local resident is in fair condition following an alcohol-related crash. 25-year-old Carrie Elliott was traveling westbound on 1600th Road near the Macomb Airport when her car left the roadway and struck a power pole. After Elliott left the car, it became fully engulfed in flames. She was flown to OSF and charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. Macomb police say they will be watching the homes of local sex offenders this Halloween. An Illinois law prohibits child sex offenders from participating in holiday events involving children under 18 years old, like trick-or-treating. This means it's illegal for offenders to hand out candy or go trick-or-treating. Macomb police say they've conducted physical address checks of all local sex offenders, and all were found to be in compliance with state laws.
The Macomb Police Department busted the two Bushnell residents for methamphetamine on Wednesday. 47-year-old Joyce Ann Mahaffey and 45-year-old John Clark Anderson were both caught with under 5 grams of meth. Mahaffey's bond is set at $3,000, while Anderson's bond is $5,000. Protesters lined the sidewalks in the quad at WIU's campus yesterday in a demonstration to stop domestic violence.
On Western campus, we are hosting our first silent protest, and we're protesting for violence, gun violence, domestic violence, everything. We ask people to wear all black and just hold signs. This is our first time.
Demonstrators stood along the sidewalk between the library and the Union for several hours yesterday. Participants wore black clothes and many had tape over their mouths to signify silence and peace. They also displayed signs to help inform pedestrians about the cruelty of both domestic and gun violence. The protest comes in the wake of an alleged attempted assault that happened near campus this past weekend.
If you've been by the Macomb Public Library recently, you may have noticed some changes are underway. News 3's Jeff Hunter reports on what the project is all about.
They say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, so if you drive by the Macomb Public Library, don't jump to conclusions about what you see there. The small, unassuming building will soon be something bigger.
We are in a 1903 Carnegie building that was commissioned back in, 1902 and has never had anything done to it.
Things are certainly being done to it now, on the outside and on the inside. The 111-year-old building is undergoing a substantial expansion.
I am very, very blessed in the community to have volunteers that help us move the books from our present location to 2 or 3 storage areas and a pod in the back of the building.
The project will double the square footage of the library and is expected to be completed in early February.
We had the Secretary of State and State Librarian, Jesse White, present us with 75% of the grant that we received from the State Library.
The recent wet weather has slightly hindered the construction effort, so the project is only a week or so behind schedule. For News 3, I'm Jeff Hunter.
With favorable weather, we can expect the project to wrap up early next year. A few weeks ago, this photo was sent into News 3 by Chief Broadcasting Engineer of WIU, Tom Durso, of what he believed to be a bobcat or a cougar on his way to go fishing at Spring Lake. We sent the photo into the Department of Natural Resources to get a second opinion. According to 2 officials from the Department of Natural Resources, this animal is nothing more than a house cat. Moving to weather, we're experiencing some very fall-like conditions today, with highs in the low 60s, but it doesn't look like that will continue through this weekend. News 3's Nicholas Stewart brings us more in the first forecast. Nick?
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of cloud cover today, and that's unfortunate for the solar eclipse that we're going to have in basically about a couple minutes now. But again, as we look outside, cloudy skies over the courthouse. We are up to 60 degrees, 61% humidity. That's why we haven't really been seeing that many showers as we should have been. Okay, we did mention we are looking at we are looking at a solar eclipse later on this afternoon. This is exactly what we can expect to see. The moon is going to partially obscure the sun, and that will kick off basically right after this newscast at about 4:35. It'll peak at around 5:45. The problem is clouds is going to make that very difficult. We are seeing a few breaks. Hopefully that will come our way. We'll have a full look at your forecast though in just a couple of minutes. As you mentioned, a warm weekend ahead. Back to you.
This Saturday, October 25th, is National Make a Difference Day. Millions of volunteers all over the nation will work together to improve the lives of others. Tomorrow morning on Good Morning Macomb, we will have a member of the Western All-Volunteer Effort Organization of WAVE in the studio with us. Tune in at 10 a.m. to find out how you can make a difference in someone's life. Western Illinois is inviting students and employees to submit cards and notes to our servicemen and women. The cards will be distributed to veteran admissions homes and hospitals throughout the holidays. Deadline is November 21st. Contact the Veterans Resource Center at 309-298-3505 or email them at veteransresources@wiu.edu for any questions.
Safe trick-or-treating every Halloween is a must for the Macomb community, and WIU is hosting an event where you will be able to play games and meet other goblins. University Relations says Western Illinois University Interhall Council, Resident Assistant Council, University Housing and Dining Service will hold an event on October 30th from 5 to 7. Children ages 2 through 12 are invited to Bayless, Henninger, Corbin, Olson, Lincoln, Washington, Grody, Thompson Hall, and Tanner Hall. Halloween is right around the corner and things are getting a little spooky around campus. The International Friendship Club and WIU Center for International Studies will be hosting their annual Halloween party this Friday, October 24th at the Multicultural Center. Western's calendar sources say that this year's guest will be mentalist Chris Carter. There will be free food, candy, and a pumpkin carving contest. The winner for Best Costume will win a gift card for $100. The event will start at 6 p.m.
Thompson Hall is turning the 18th floor into a haunted hall. The Fright Fest will be premiering October 24th and will be open the 25th, 29th, and 31st from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. Family hours will be held on the 30th from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. Regular admission is $5 and $3 if you have a canned good item. The canned goods will go to the Stuff the Bus program held in early November. The Hornfield Corn Maze is coming to a close. This is the last full weekend the maze will be open. The maze is located south of Macomb at 985th China Road, Macomb, Illinois. Hours are Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 4 p.m. Admission is $5 per person. On Halloween night, the Haunted Corn Maze will be open from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m.
Dining costs were high last year. Let's take a look at how things could be changing for the better.
Dining costs was a major issue for previous students in recent years. We go look into the different changes of this year.
Also, we kind of looked at our overall food plan. We got a committee together from Inter-Hall Council of Students to see what was important to them, and hearing that the cost of the food was an important thing, we said, okay, what can we do to decrease that cost? So we made some larger operational changes that you'll see in our dining centers, including hours, some options, and then obviously Bayless and Henninger.
To accommodate student financial flexibility, University Housing and Dining Services had to make changes of the previous student Inter-Hall Council past had requested. Where changes in prices comes changes in other areas.
Whether you're in Tanner C-store or in the Thompson C-store, but you will see some higher prices. You'll pay tax if you're in the union, so sometimes our students will see a higher price there, but the lower price that you'll see in all of our actual dining.
With a good atmosphere, tasty food, and a lower price, the goal of the Western Illinois University Housing and Dining Services is to meet the demands of a busy student schedule with flexible dining hours, convenient locations, and a variety of services. With News 3, I'm Jalen Brown.
Lower prices could be in the near future. This Saturday, WIU will be hosting the 2014 FFA and 4-H Livestock Judging Contest. The cost is $5 per person, and registration will begin at 8 a.m. and judging will begin at 9 a.m. Awards will be given out to teams and individuals. There will also be multiple divisions such as the junior and senior divisions as well. Western's calendar source says the event will take place at WIU's Livestock Center.
WIU's Department of Theater and Dance is presenting A Flea in Her Ear. This comedic play is based on a woman who comes up with a plan to see if her husband is cheating on her. The play premieres Friday, October 24th in the Hainline Theater at 7:30 p.m. Other showtimes are Saturday, October 25th and next Tuesday, the 28th through Thursday, the 30th. Admission is free for WIU students with a valid ID. Tickets are $15 for the general public and $13 for senior citizens.
Coming up in 2 minutes on News 3 Live at 4. Coming up in 2 minutes, shots were fired inside the Canadian Parliament yesterday.
And find out what good news a nurse and her dog have while being victims of Ebola.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up.
That's me, Joe Decker, owner of San Diego-based Gut Check Fitness, Guinness Book or World Record holder, World's Fittest Man, and WIU graduate. There are a few things that have helped me get to the top of my industry: growing up on a farm in the Midwest, serving in the U.S. military, and graduating from WIU. This is my story. What will your success story be?
Campaign now from Macomb in high definition. You're watching Sinead Glasgow, Brody Waddell, weather with meteorology major Nicholas Stewart, and sports with Tyler Eddy. Live at 4 continues.
The family of the suspected gunman that attacked Canada's parliament spoke out today. "I'm mad at our son," was one of the main quotes from Michael Zahaf Bimbabo's family in a letter to the Associated Press. Zahaf Bimbo was shot dead after going on a shooting spree at the Parliament in Canada's capital. He was shot by this man, Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers. CNN has reported that 32-year-old gunman had his passport revoked and labeled high risk in Canada only days before the shooting. It's still early in the investigation, but officials believe he is the same man behind the attack at the War Memorial, which happened only minutes before the attack at Parliament. An Indiana man has confessed to killing a woman in Indiana and now is being connected to several more bodies found. Darren Vann of Indianapolis is in custody after confessing his involvement in the murder of one woman in the Indianapolis area. The details in the case get more gruesome with each new development. Right now, Dion Vann is charged with the murder of one woman, but police say during questioning, Vann admitted to strangling Afrika Hardy to death at a Motel 6. He then confessed to 6 other deaths and led police to the women's bodies in abandoned buildings. Vann has been silent through his hearing process and has been held in contempt. The judge has postponed the hearing until next week.
Texas nurse Nina Pham, who is being treated for Ebola, has been upgraded from fair condition to good. And there is also good news for her dog, Bentley, who was put in quarantine after Pham contracted the virus. The 1-year-old Cavalier King Charles Spaniel tested negative for Ebola. Dallas officials announced Wednesday. Workers who are caring for Bentley wear full-body protective suits in case he was infected. The CDC says there has been no reports of dogs or cats becoming sick with Ebola. Bentley will be monitored for the 21-day incubation period for Ebola and will be tested again before he is released. 9 professors have been fired from the University of North Carolina after the release of an investigation held on campus. Over a span of 18 years, professors have been giving student athletes easy A's that were enrolled in made-up courses. It's been reported that the courses were created to help the GPA of student athletes in men's and women's basketball, football, and Olympic sports.
The cosmos will cast an afternoon delight over the country today with a partial solar eclipse.
Will the clouds clear out in time to view the solar eclipse? We'll have the answer coming up in the full forecast.
Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet.
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
NEWS3 means to me an amazing experience. Being able to work with seniors, it's given me the experience and the knowledge and getting to know more about writing and becoming a better writer. Being able to be an anchor and do what I want to do in life. I don't want to leave. I'm not ready yet. I don't think there are words to describe how thankful I am for everything that everybody has given me and taught me while I'm here at Western.
Campaign 2014, continuing coverage online, news3wiu.com.
Yeah, mostly cloudy skies right now in Macomb. If you take a look at the courthouse, clouds sitting right over Macomb. Temperature-wise, we did get into the lower 60s. We're only at 60 degrees right now, though. The low humidity values kept with a lot of the rain that should have fallen, kept it well out of our area. We did have just a few sprinkles here and there. Taking a look at the current satellite radar composite, we do have this little break in the clouds moving in across northeastern Missouri that's slowly pushing its way into western Illinois. If this clearing can hold together and if it can persist into western Illinois, that'll be our best chance to view the solar eclipse. It's not ideal conditions, but we may get at least a quick glimpse at it later on this evening, right after the newscast. Temperatures, we're in the lower 60s and upper 50s across Illinois. Davenport at 61, Chicago checking at 58 degrees at this hour. The warmth temperatures is off to our north and our west, and that's what's moving our way into the weekend. If we take a look at our current surface map, we do have this area of low pressure that's sitting just northeast of us, and this band of rain and clouds extending out ahead of the cold front. Moving into tomorrow, the cold front basically stalls not too far from us, but the moisture what this system had really almost evaporates, becomes mostly sunny skies across almost the entire Midwest. And the weekend just looks absolutely beautiful as we move into Saturday. Air of high pressure moves in from Canada. This brings in nice temperatures and also brings in nice sunny skies, pushing most of the clouds well away from the area. And we're looking at basically above normal temperatures for the next several days. That's because this it's an upper area of high pressure way up in the atmosphere that's pushing the jet stream very far north. That's allowing all this warmth to build in, all this warmth to move in from the south. And that's what's providing us with these very warm temperatures again as we go into tomorrow. For tonight, we'll drop down to about 58 degrees. Clouds will slowly begin to thin as we go into the overnight. And by tomorrow, we're looking at mostly sunny skies. We'll hit a 70-degree mark, 71 degrees. Southerly winds at about 10 miles per hour, gusting at times to 20. 5-day forecast, again, we got 70s on the board. That's pretty nice for near the end of October. Dip down to 67 on Sunday, but look at Monday, 75 degrees, but again, mostly sunny skies before the next storm system moves in on Tuesday, bringing in our next chance of rain. So hopefully we can get out and enjoy the weekend. It's going to be quite beautiful out there.
Thanks, Nick.
Tyler's in next with sports. He has a preview of all the local action taking place this weekend. The Macomb Bombers get ready for their final game of 2014.
And after 2 tough home losses to ranked opponents, the Western Illinois football team takes on the 23rd ranked UNI Panthers.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple, just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Don't worry. The 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a shelter pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Hi, that's me, Sammy Marshall, a junior exercise science major at Western Illinois University, shortstop on the Leatherneck softball team, and Summit League Player of the Year. At Western, I take my GPA just as seriously as I take my batting average. My experiences with faculty, my coaching staff, and the community are helping shape my future in exercise science. This is my story. What will your success story be?
When the big stories strike, count on award winners to provide you intimate and in-depth coverage. On the air and online. Local news, fresh perspective.
Hello, Western Illinois. It has certainly been a tough season for the Macomb Bomber football team, but one positive is tomorrow night is senior night for the Orange and Black and will mark their final game of the season against Bloomington Central Catholic. The Bombers are just 2-6 on the year and will welcome the 4-4 Saints to MHS Field in the season finale. The season will mark the second consecutive year the Orange and Black won't make the playoffs after reaching 11 of the past 12 seasons. Meanwhile, a win for BCC would make them eligible for the playoffs, which would be their 11th straight year playing on the big stage. Last week's game against Mater Dei featured 5 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes. Both teams head into this week coming off of a loss. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. And now the Western Illinois football team will play host the 23rd ranked team in the country on Saturday. The University of Northern Iowa Panthers will make the trip west to Hanson Field from Cedar Falls. That's actually east for the Missouri Valley Conference matchup. Both teams are coming off games in which they lost in the final minutes following game-winning field goals from the opposition. The Leathernecks had a big weekend against Illinois State, led by quarterback Trenton Norvell, who was 21 of 35 for 310 yards and threw for 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Lance Lenore had a career day, catching 12 passes for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also eclipsed 1,000 yards for his career. The defense came out strong in the game and forced 3 turnovers, one being a David McDaniel interception that tied him with corner Martinez Davis for most active career interceptions on the team. That game between the 23rd ranked Panthers and the Leathernecks is set for 1 p.m. Now today, the Western Illinois basketball programs hosted their annual media day at Western Hall. The men's program heads into this season after losing some key players to graduation and former head coach Jim Molinari to Nebraska. The new men's basketball coach, Billy Wright, gave his thoughts on the upcoming season at today's press conference.
I really like this team. I think the energy, the enthusiasm, they show up to work each and every day. They show up to produce, and that's one thing that we talk about. It's one thing just to show up and punch the clock. It's another thing to show up and produce.
So that's all the time we have for sports. Shanae, Brody, Big Pink Volleyball is pretty good this week. We didn't get, the Nat Pack didn't get the win, but the B-Rollers, they almost had it.
No, it was a lot of fun, and it was for a great cause. And even though we didn't win, you got that Nat Pack, I think wasn't it Nat Pack?
It was the Nat Pack. I didn't realize you were so athletic, Shanae. You're pretty good
well,
out there.
I did play volleyball in high school. I do have athletic skills.
I wasn't a volleyball player. They didn't let me wear the spandex, so that was the issue for me. But
that would have been bad for every party involved.
Oh, absolutely. It was all in good fun, though, and it's a good cause. My grandmother actually had breast cancer, so it's good to compete and things like that and really spread the awareness.
So that was great. All right. Well, thanks, Tyler. Live at 4's Finest had another chance to play Big Pink Volleyball.
We'll have more in 2 minutes.
My name is Patrick Magoon, and I have the privilege of serving as the President and Chief Executive Officer of Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. I'm also a very proud alumni of Western Illinois University. It gave me the foundation I needed to build a very successful career. That's my story. What will your success story be?
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
The NEWS3 team was out this week in support of breast cancer. We all took part in Big Pink Volleyball.
With 2 teams in the bracket, one fell quickly in the first round. The second team traveled into the Elite 8 before they lost in a close game. And Nick, you have our final weather for us.
Yes, you know, the solar eclipse, again, we can view that almost right after this newscast if the clouds can break. Starts off just after this newscast, about 5 minutes after. We'll peak around 5:45, so hopefully we can get some breaks in the cloud. Kind of neat to see for everyone involved.
That would be neat.
Yep.
I've never seen one before, so I have to
It's
check that out.
interesting. The big one comes in 2017, where it's a full lunar eclipse, or a full solar eclipse, so that'll be really interesting
Cool.
to see.
That would be interesting. All right, thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. For Nicholas Stewart, I'm Shanae Glasgow.
For Tyler Eddy, I'm Brody Waddell. We'll stay on top of your news overnight and bring you the latest updates on News3WIU.com.
Tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. for our Good Morning Macomb. Have a good evening.